Have Liverpool found their successor to Jurgen Klopp? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Yes, today's video is going to centre around Liverpool Football Club, who may have just found the man to succeed Jurgen Klopp at the end of the season when the German does call time on his Liverpool career and ends up walking off into the sunset. We know that Jurgen Klopp is leaving at the end of the campaign. He announced that a few months ago, and the question on everyone's lips was who would be succeeding him at Anfield in that Liverpool hot seat to take over as the next Liverpool manager. Xabi Alonso was touted for a long time as being that guy to be the front runner, to be in pole position, to take over the reins of Jurgen Klopp at Anfield. He ruled himself out the running to stay at Leverkusen, and it seems that Liverpool have turned their attention to Ruben Amorim of Sporting Lisbon, someone who, in my eyes, has been a guy who I've become more and more interested in and more I just like the look of him more and more. The more that I see, the more that I hear, the more that I read. And it seems that Liverpool are attracted to him as well. It seems that Liverpool are attracted to him as well in the form that, according to certain outlets and certain reports and certain journalists, Liverpool have offered the Sporting Lisbon manager a 3-year deal to come to Anfield at the end of the season to succeed Jurgen Klopp for when he calls the end of his reign as the Liverpool manager. We're going to be talking about Amorim, we're going to be talking about this potential news story and everything else in between. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and very greatly appreciated. And of course, get involved in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. That way for great interest in reading down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. But without further ado, let's get on with the video. Let's talk Liverpool and let's talk Ruben Amorim. Earlier on today, I put out a short video that basically stated that Fabrizio Romano had claimed that Liverpool had concrete interest in signing Ruben Amorim on as their next manager, the next permanent manager to succeed Jurgen Klopp. And a Portuguese journalist by the name of Pedro Sepulveda. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. Again, I apologize. Names, I am very terrible with names. I'm not very good with names, and I completely butcher them. So I do genuinely apologize if I've absolutely butchered that pronunciation of that name. But he's been kind of all over this in recent days, and he claimed yesterday that there was a meeting scheduled between Ruben Amorim's agent and Liverpool Football Club over the potential and possibility of him becoming the next manager of Liverpool Football Club. And then today, within the past hour or two, he has stated that this is an exclusive. Liverpool Football Club offer Ruben Amorim a contract for the next 3 seasons. Financial terms are almost agreed. Negotiations remain positive for Amorim to become Liverpool's next head coach. So all of that talk about Liverpool turning their attention from Xabi Alonso to Amorim is seemingly true. Romano confirmed that himself earlier on. And now it seems that there may be a contract on the table if this is to be believed. Now, of course, there might be some miscommunication. It might not be all genuinely true. But if it is, it's interesting and exciting for Liverpool. This is a 39-year-old manager currently in charge of Sporting Lisbon, has already led them to their first Portuguese title in 19 years when he first took charge. In his first full season, by the way, he took charge at the end of, I believe, the 2019-20 season. And then in his first full season with the club, went on to lead them towards their first title in, I think, 19-20 years, something along them lines. He's then won a couple of Portuguese trophies and domestic cups in the mix. He's obviously took them very well in Europe. And of course, this season, he is leading them to potentially another Portuguese league title. They currently are, I believe there's something like 3 points clear at the top or 4 points clear at the top with a game in hand over their nearest rivals, Benfica. They actually beat Benfica I believe, in their last league game. So there is something to this guy. Silverware has followed this guy in Portugal, but it's always a question of whether or not you can transfer your skills and your quality from the Portuguese league into, of course, with all due respect to the Portuguese league, a bigger, more physically demanding and just overall more challenging league in the Premier League, with all due respect to Portugal yet again. This guy, though, there does seem to be something to him. There does seem to be a bit of substance to his style, a bit of style to his substance as well. And this seems to be a man that is gaining a lot of attention, a lot of notoriety across all of Europe. There's not just Liverpool that are seemingly and said to be interested in taking this guy. There does seem to be interest from elsewhere. A lot of top European clubs are seemingly keeping on his radar. He's very young. Inexperienced, you maybe could argue, particularly on a bigger stage. But again, as I said in my previous video that I did on Amorim, who were you expecting to get, Liverpool fans? Were you expecting to get someone of Jurgen Klopp's level? Someone that's better than Jurgen Klopp? Because the only one, in my opinion, that's better than Jurgen Klopp is Pep Guardiola. And him going to Liverpool is not happening ever. So there you have it. The only way to go would be to go down and maybe work your way back up again. And Amorim certainly is that guy. As I've said with Amorim, he's a guy who has faced a lot of tough times in his Sporting Lisbon career. He saw a lot of his biggest and best players leave the club, but he still managed to be adaptable and flexible, and obviously to redeem the losses of those kinds of characters that Sporting have lost down the years. And he's managed to obviously adapt very well to that. He's shown how he can work with a budget. He's shown how he can work with youngsters, bringing a few of them youngsters up through the ranks of the academy and things of that nature, and obviously helping his younger players establish themselves on a bigger stage. It all sounds positive in those kinds of aspects. He plays a 3-4-3, which is heavily flexible. Works a lot with the wing plays, so the likes of your Trent Alexander-Arnolds are going to be very much still in the mix and still very much key figures in that kind of role. Demands high intensity, high pressure, particularly going further forward. Attacking wise, it looks solid as well. They're very adaptable to obviously making it as narrow and as awkward as possible, but also trying to stretch the opposition when they are on the attack. Possession based. It is all of those kinds of buzzwords that you would expect from a manager who is receiving a lot of hype right now. Look, is he Xabi Alonso? Absolutely not. I think Xabi Alonso would have been perfect for us, and I love what he's doing at Bayer Leverkusen, and hopefully long may it continue for the time being that he is actually at the club and that he himself doesn't fall off. But we have to obviously be realistic and look for alternatives. And for me, Roberto De Zerbi was a guy that I liked at the beginning when obviously Jurgen Klopp announced his news. I liked De Zerbi. He seems to have fallen off a little bit at Brighton. I think there is context to be applied to that particular situation, and I think there are other kind of scenarios that are buzzing around that need to obviously be applied to that situation as well. But I think there is obviously there needs to be a bit more substance to his style, shall we say. Maybe that is something that I've looked at more and more and seen as a bit of a fault in De Zerbi. I love De Zerbi's football. I think it is sometimes out of this world what he can, or how he can get his team to play. But I do think there is a lot more style than substance there. And I think there has to be a bit more of substance to his style for me to be turned around by that even more so. Because like I say, as the more I've seen of him and the more I've seen of other contenders, I've turned my attention. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not exactly a religious fan of the Portuguese league. But obviously the more and more that I heard about this Amorim guy, the more that I've watched in recent times, and the more that I've obviously done my research on him and obviously Sporting as a whole and everything. So I get the hype. I get the understanding. Like I say, there are question marks over his age and his inexperience. There are question marks over whether or not he can kind of continue to produce the form that he's doing at Sporting Lisbon. over in a much more competitive league, in a much more bigger club, at a much more bigger club in Liverpool than what they are in comparison to Sporting. Again, with all due respect to Sporting, I can't stress that enough. But I say it's a gamble worth taking. I say it is a risk that is worth taking as far as what Liverpool are concerned. And it's one that I'm actually very much looking forward to seeing in action. Obviously, if this does come about, if this news is to be believed, and obviously if this is to overall be legitimate and materialise into something that is going to definitely happen. So, very much interested to know what the rest of the Liverpool fan base thinks, what rivals think, what Sporting Lisbon fans may think as well on this. It's a very intriguing story. Like I say, I think it is a bit of a risk, but I think it is a risk worth taking. I like this guy. I like what his portfolio is saying in terms of what he's won in Portugal. I like what he's saying in terms of obviously the players he's brought in, the players he's raised from the academy, the youngsters he's worked with, and obviously the players that he's had to lose and the players he's had to bring in to sort of fill in those positions. I like his style of play. I like the intensity aspect. I like the tempo. I like the high press. I like the adaptable, seemingly formation of 3-4-3. I think that is becoming a very popular sort of formation across not just Europe, but I think in England as well. I think you can see it become more and more popular, and I'm interested to see if that may catch a few people off guard next season. And I'm very much interested to see what obviously the new look Liverpool may look like. Obviously, I say new look, and obviously we've brought back Michael Edwards, but it's in a different capacity. We've obviously got I forgot his name now. I want to say Richard Hughes. I think it's Richard Hughes. I forgot his name. I've completely forgot his name. The new sporting director. That's going to annoy me, especially if I go back, especially if I finish this video and work out I've said the wrong name. But I believe it is Richard Hughes. I believe it is Richard Hughes. So I'm very much interested to see this new Liverpool side in action next season, both on and off the pitch. Obviously, it's going to be I know we say this every year as Liverpool fans, but it's going to be a massive transfer window. It's going to be very interesting to see what this new Liverpool setup is going to be like for the season. It's going to be very interesting to see how that unfolds. It is Richard Hughes. Sorry, I just had to quickly Google it because it was going to annoy me. It is Richard Hughes. It's going to be interesting to see how this new setup does go. It's going to be interesting to see how this new setup does work. It's going to be interesting to see how it works both on and off the pitch. If they can combine and work like a well-oiled machine. It's going to be very intriguing to see all of that kind of combine and work together for what is going to be a little bit of an unprecedented transfer window and summer for the Reds, in which obviously we're going in now to a bit of instability. We're not going to have that same stability that we've had for the past few years with Jurgen Klopp at the helm. So it's going to be very intriguing to find out how this all works. We've already got the sporting director in place. We've already got Michael Edwards back, and now it's all about finding that next manager. And for me, since Alonso announced that he was going to be ruling himself out of the running and that he was going to stay at Leverkusen, Amorim, for me, has taken centre stage. And like I say, again, that's nothing against De Zerbi completely. I just think there has to be more substance to his style, the more and more that I'm seeing of him. But for Amorim, I'm intrigued. I'm very much intrigued by this guy, and everything that I keep on researching and everything that I keep on looking at and everything that I keep on reading and hearing is all making me think that this is a gamble worth taking. And that's the bottom line you can take from this video, is that Ruben Amorim may be a gamble worth taking for Liverpool, with the news coming out today that there is allegedly and reportedly a 3-year contract on the table from Liverpool to Amorim in order for him to succeed Jurgen Klopp at the end of the season. Whether or not that materialises and becomes legitimate or not remains to be seen. Time will tell on that one. But it does make for very intriguing reading and very intriguing debate, which I'm sure all of you guys will have down below in the comment section. Leave your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it down below, down there, because as I always say on these types of videos, these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings of this guy, and I really want to hear from you guys. So feel free to absolutely use and abuse that comment section to your will on this particular story and topic. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way if you enjoy the video, subscribe if you are new and want to see more content like this. Both things are always and probably greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.